Harry Potter fans, how would you like to stay in Hagrid's hut? Or maybe on the night bus? Come along, we'll give you a tour.
Welcome to the caretaker's cabin.
As a Harry Potter fan, I was very excited to see the outside of Hagrid's cottage. There was so much detail, and it was so magical. I couldn't wait to go inside to see what else was in store. When I first entered the cabin, I expected to see Hagrid. There was so much detail that it looked like he just left for a second, maybe exploring the forest, and be back any minute to sit down to tea at the table. The cottage is so comfortable, and the colors are so warm. Everywhere you look, objects are carefully selected to enhance the magic. Who wouldn't want to tuck in for the night with a mug of butterbeer and a copy of Philosopher's Stone? Maybe you're a wizard in need of rescuing and you want to stay in the night bus. We were fortunate to speak to Mary, our host, who told us how this bus came to be here.
Hi, welcome to Magical Mountain Resorts. This is the Midnight Bus. So I'll tell you the story of the Midnight Bus. It's kind of interesting and it has two parts to it. So the Midnight Bus was manufactured in Lowestoft, England in March of 1955, and it was brought here in August of 1978 by Walt Disney. He used it to transport people back and forth between his Fort Wilderness Campground and Walt Disney World. Then it went to the mighty 8th Air Force Museum. It was there for about 2 years, but it didn't really fit in with their whole decor vibe, whatever they were doing there. So then it was moved to the Old Town Tours in the city of Savannah, Georgia. Purchased it, and they gave tours through the city for several years, about 7 or 8 years, until the city decided that they were going to ban the double-decker buses because they are 13 foot 6 inches and they did not want to cut their oak trees. So at that point, a guy named Jim Lugo out of Royston, Georgia, purchased the bus, and he was going to make a rolling Christian bookstore out of it. Well, that never happened. So it sat in his barn for 20 years. And he used to ride his grandchildren around on his farm in the bus. And after the 20 years, a guy named Scott came by his place. He also had a sawmill, and he was going to buy some wood off of him. And he saw the bus and thought it was amazing, and he bought it off of Jim, and then he looked into moving it. Well, it's extremely expensive to move these because of the height. They're fragile, they're antique. So he decided he didn't want the bus that bad. So he listed it on Craigslist for $10,000, which is where I saw it. And we were negotiating price when he won the lottery and sold it to me for $2,000. And so there's another wrinkle to the story. There's a gal named Jensen Savannah, and she did a TikTok, and it reached 10 million people. Well, I had been trying to get a hold of Jim Lugo since I bought the bus, since I got it done, to show him what I've done to it, because I was so excited, and I couldn't find him. His phone number was changed. He didn't have the same email, but his granddaughter Leah saw that TikTok and said, "Hey, that bus used to belong to my grandfather." So I asked her for his phone number. I called him up and said, "Hey, I'd love for you and June to spend the night in the bus." I said, "But Jensen did this video, this TikTok, and it reached 10 million people, and I got 179 bookings in 3 days." And I said, "I honestly don't have anything until September 4th and 5th. And this was in July. And he was like, "September 4th and 5th? And I was like, "Yeah, I know it's a long way off." And he said, "No, the 4th and the 5th is what you said?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, the 4th is my 75th birthday, and the 5th is my granddaughter Leah's 22nd birthday." So they celebrated their birthdays in the bus, and they also brought pictures of when they had the bus when they were little. They were 2, 3, 4 years old, and they reenacted the same pictures, which was really cool. And they stayed in the bus and thought it was absolutely fabulous. So that's the story of the Midnight Bus.
What an exciting place for wizards and muggles alike to spend the night. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, no problem. There are many other different types of cottages, such as Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and even Alice in Wonderland.
I'm loving these gingerbread. Look at all the candy canes. I'm anxious to see around the corner.
I'm so glad you were able to join us in the Enchanted Forest. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.